What's up everyone? Dragon Ball Zero was written by Toyble, aka Toyotaro, about the happenings of the Saiyans just before they met their ultimate fate. While it was written prior to his hiring by Shueisha, as just a fan he took it upon himself to expand upon the series, adding newcomers like RikeLuxxBeats for the story, and bringing Turtles into his own canon. Year 737, 3 days before the destruction of planet Vegeta. We zoom into Stadium number 3, where some sort of tournament is being held. A strange alien shouts into a microphone, "And the team that wins this championship will be allowed to start conquering other planets!" As the crowd cheers in approval. In the bottom panel, we see a familiar face in a familiar situation. A very young Raddatzs down on his back, with another fighter digging his boot into his chest, mirroring the situation he'd put his own brother in a few decades from now. The other kids jeer Raddatzs to just give up, cheering on their own guy in the process. And unfortunately, Raddatzs' team looks frustrated at best. Turles shouts to his partner, "It's okay, Raddatzs, just give up." To his confusion, he sees Turles pat his chest a few times and give him a look. In understanding, Raddatzs shouts to his foe, "I surrender! Now remove your foot!" The other kid can only ask, "What?" Before Raddatzs once again admits defeat and demands he step off him. Then pleading, "Please, I don't want to lose in such a humiliating way! Remove your foot!" But it all proves to just be a dirty trick, as Raddatzs gathers sand in his right hand. Then shouting, "Please!" which seems to appeal to his opponent's emotional side. As soon as his foot is up, Raddatzs chucks debris in his face. Unable to see, his teammates can only look on helplessly. This doesn't seem to go against the rules, as the announcer commentates exactly how we saw it. "Participant Raddatzs just threw a handful of sand. With all this dust, we can no longer see in the ring." Completely blind in the cloud, Raddatzs is able to sneak up on him. Grabbing his tail, he renders the kid completely immobilized. While paralyzed, he tries to argue that that's not allowed. You can't pull tails during one of these matches. Calling him an idiot, Raddatzs says, "Who cares?" before jumping at him and launching him from the ring. With that, the announcer declares, "Gelato?" has been thrown from the ring, leaving Raddatzs' team the champions. The crowd lets out a deafening belt, as I'm just wondering if Gelato has any bearing on the future character Shallot from DBZ Legends. Clearly from a different era and different character designs, but an interesting name choice. Gelato's team can't believe it, but Raddatzs couldn't be prouder. He celebrates with his team as he exits the stage. The others shout that they're nothing but a bunch of cheaters. Turles and Raddatzs laugh this off and remind them the all too honest truth that there are no rules in war. Besides, the Geneva Convention. And walk away continuing to laugh. Meanwhile, in one of the city buildings, attaching a scouter, Raddatzs tells the others it's time for them to finally go conquer a planet. Turles responds that they have to give their best to impress Lord Frieza. Catching his eye, Turles says, "Hey Raddatzs, ain't that your baby brother?" In silence, Raddatzs reads the nameplate, Kakarot. Making jokes, Turles pokes fun that his power level only registers as 2, but he runs this back with, "Well, he is only a baby after all. Kinda looks like me, doesn't he?" When they're interrupted by an adult.
"Excuse me, Raddatzs. They plan to send your brother to a distant planet. I think it's a blue planet called Earth, located in the Sol system."
Raddatzs has never heard of this planet, but Turles says they'll be sure to pay him a visit one day. But Raddatzs couldn't care less, saying he doesn't care about him. Let's go. The gang then gets into a debate where they're being sent to. Then suddenly, they hear a rapid tapping on the floor coming from down the hall. Running by, it's Raddatzs' father Bardock. It seems the two haven't seen each other in quite some time, as Bardock has to question if that's really his son or not, then further commenting on how much he's grown before asking how his mother's been. Saying she's been well, it really seems Raddatzs just can't believe he's standing in front of his own father. As he turns to go, Turles yells for him to wait, explaining that the three of them just received permission to go conquer a planet. Taking interest in this, Bardock removes a garter from his left arm and tosses it to his son. "Next time, we'll do something together, okay?" Which is exactly what Raddatzs wanted to hear. However, we know this would be the last time the two would ever see each other. The Saiyans are a warrior race built for battle. They have rapidly become more prominent in Frieza's army. A couple soldiers in the background make small talk about the Ginyu Force, saying they went somewhere called Planet Desset. Going back and forth, the other says that he heard they weren't able to defeat its inhabitants, which is wild because the Ginyus are known to be one of the most powerful forces known to mankind. Or alien kind. Sapient kind? Before turning to Bardock and joking, "Why don't you go?" who responds with complete confidence and conviction, "I'll go check it out once I've cleaned up Planet Meat," leaving the soldiers dumbfounded. Before one says, "He's gonna die young." The Saiyans worked their way upward among Frieza's ranks, so some of them took it upon themselves to make decisions of their own, something Frieza despised. So Frieza ordered the extermination of the Saiyan race on a distant planet. "Hey, we found him!" "Awesome, you finally came! Look, I annihilated almost all of them!" "I see. Well done." "What?" On yet another planet, a group of Saiyans appear to have just finished conquering a distant world, with one announcing, "I think we're done here." If we can sell this planet, Frieza's gonna... Before an explosion wipes them all out. As the smoke clears, we see a couple of Frieza's guys. Raddatzs' team has been sent to planet Desset, the same world it was rumored the Ginyus failed to conquer. It seems Raddatzs and his crew would suffer the same fate, as one of them is already lying dead. So much for that world building I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Turles and Raddatzs appear to be in very bad shape, as Raddatzs says these guys are incredibly strong. Turles follows up with the admission that they can't do anything to him. Getting a look at the foes for ourselves, they're a couple of giant monsters. While a beam from Turles appears to have done something, it mostly just angers the giant beast. It lets out an ear-splitting bellow as the boys take off, trying to run away. Turles falls. Before Raddatzs can do anything to save him, he's crushed by the monster. Meanwhile, of all people, Kui is also on the planet. Making a call to Frieza Planet 50, he lets someone know that the Saiyan kids are dead, as expected. While it's suggested that it's Frieza himself on the other line, it's never fully confirmed. Whoever it is, they comment, "That didn't take long," as Kui confirms the native inhabitants killed them. At that precise moment, Bardock, who just escaped death by the hands of Frieza's men on planet Meat, was heading back towards planet Vegeta. From his ship, he was able to hear the conversation, even recognizing Kui's voice. Once more, whoever it is on Frieza Planet 50 requests 100% confirmation. Are Turles, Ricello, and Raddatzs dead? Once again, Kui assures him that they are, saying he can't find the bodies, but he's in the vicinity of where they perished. Putting to rest any thought that this isn't what it sounds like, the mystery voice says, "I'm pleased. I've been waiting a long time for this moment." Furious to hear of his son's demise, he swears that one day he will be the one to kill Frieza. But as we know, Bardock would soon face Frieza alone, but he never stood a chance against the tyrant, and would fade away into history along with his planet. With his final breath, he'd shout for his son Kakarot to finish what he could not. Back on planet Desset, Raddatzs can be seen hiding, waiting for the monsters to leave. But then stepping on a stick or something, he makes a noise that alerts them of his location. Spotted, one of the natives goes in for the kill as Raddatzs believes his life to be over. But just then, the beast falls. Just overhead, two figures arise behind Raddatzs. "Well done, Vegeta!" "Huh, I guess." It looks to be the Prince of all Saiyans and his loyal partner. Vegeta unknowingly has saved the day. As the two kids make eye contact, Vegeta asks, "Who are you?" And Nappa recognizes him as Bardock's son, before asking what he's doing here. Nervously, he explains that Frieza sent him to this planet to conquer it. Nappa argues that that's impossible. This planet has a ranking of Super 5. There's no way a low-level warrior like you could ever have a chance of doing that. Frustrated, Vegeta says those rumors of the Ginyus failing here must have been a lie. Seeing how it appears Frieza's been spreading false rumors, Nappa says that if he finds out that they've been here, they're both gonna get in a lot of trouble. Alas, the prince couldn't resist the temptation of seeing this planet for himself. Then turning, he tells Nappa to follow. In a surprise move of sympathy, Nappa turns to Raddatzs asking if he's coming with, but he says, "No, I have to return." Laughing this off, Vegeta asks, "Return to what?" Assuming that he wasn't aware, Nappa informs him that planet Vegeta has been destroyed by a giant meteorite. Obviously shocked by this, Vegeta illustrates the scene further by saying everything's been destroyed, including my father and yours. Then finding sick humor in this, both he and Nappa begin laughing maniacally. And thus began the adventures of the last of the Saiyans. Lucky for Turles, a particular fruit would happen his way. So what do you guys think? Did you like this backstory more than Dragon Ball Minus or what we saw in Dragon Ball Super Broly? Personally, I feel like Toyotaro tried to stay as loyal as possible with the information we already had, but still tried to create a world of his own. Obviously, it's a little hard to fit Turles into the regular canon and everything. Speaking of which, Toyotaro actually did try to expand upon him a bit further, in a 4-page short called Bardock's Secret. 1 year before the destruction of planet Vegeta, Bardock and the others had returned from the battlefield for the first time in several months. Raddatzs runs up to his dad, elated to see him. Welcoming him back, he notices Turles with him. Reading his body language, Raddatzs explains, "Oh, this is Turles," who wishes him a good morning, thinking to himself, "Turles, now where have I heard that name before?" Elaborating further, "He doesn't have a dad of his own, so he wanted to meet you, so I brought him." Then humorously telling him, "See, you really do look like my dad. You're identical. You sure we aren't related?" Well, they do say there aren't many types of Saiyan faces. Turles doesn't have much to say, but looks giddily nervous, before his mother catches his eye. Which comes to Bardock's horror as he thinks, "I knew it." Raddatzs points out to her, "Hi Turles, Mom. This is my dad," who smoothly replies, "Oh, nice to meet you, Bardock," who timidly returns the greeting as Raddatzs wonders how she knew his name. Turles tells his mother that Raddatzs' dad just returned from a long trip and was about to head home, when Raddatzs gets the idea, "Hey, you all came all the way out here, so why don't you all come to our house?" Still acting sly, she asks Raddatzs, "Oh, I wonder if your father will introduce me to his wife." And just as a naive kid would say, "Sure he will, come on!" Giving Bardock the stare of death, or something else. The Saiyan warrior looks pretty shook as Raddatzs tries to pull away, motioning her in their direction. Bardock suggests they do it another time. Ushering his son away, Raddatzs asks why they can't come, and not knowing how to explain it, Bardock just tells him that it's not good for him to be spending all his time playing with other kids. In the final panel, we're left with Turles' mother with a rather suggestive look on her face, and a text box that reads, "The official records list Turles' father as unknown." Which, if they make these pages canon, I am completely okay with them bringing Turles into the regular story. But let me know how you guys feel in the comment section, and thank you so much for being part of this community.